Hey, welcome back to Sean's Irish Whiskey Shelf. This is our first video past Christmas, so I hope that you all got some great presents under the tree from Santa. Maybe it even included some Irish whiskey, right? I know it did here. I got 2 bottles, one from a friend, one from my son. And as always, we're gonna take our first sip together and see what we think of these bottles. So, 2 bottles here this evening. I've got Hyde number 3. This is their single grain product. And I've got Clonakilty, their double oak product. So let's talk a little bit about each one first, and then we'll go into the taste of each one. So first off, Hyde number 3. This is distilled up at the Hibernia Distillers up in County Cork. This is, as I said, it's a single grain. They say they make it with pure corn grain. It's been aged for 6+ years. That's the statement that they put on there. And we're talking 46% ABV, 92 proof. It is a limited edition release, so they only make it every so often. And to support that, there's a little label right on the bottle. It tells you exactly when this was bottled and which bottle it is. So this was bottled in July of 2016, and we're looking at bottle number 4,259 out of 5,000. Also, it does say aged 6 years on here, so that would kind of go along with what they put on their website, that it's 6+ years. A lot of cool notes on this that I want to relay to you. If you recall from the last video, we talked about the coffee column copper stills and how some distillers were still using that method. Hibernia Distillers actually uses the coffee column copper still for this product. So kind of a tie-in there to the last episode. The whiskey is matured in ex-bourbon casks, and it's non-chill filtered. We see that with an awful lot of Irish whiskey these days, so nothing out of the ordinary there. They have 2 taglines they like to use. One of them they use, it's all about the wood. And apparently Hibernia takes a lot of care and uses a lot of consideration when they choose the wood and they choose the casks for maturing this product. There is a very large section on their website that describes how they choose the wood and what characteristics, there's the word I'm looking for, what characteristics they look for in the wood that they use for maturation. So it's all about the wood. That's one of their taglines. The other one is that they say this is Ireland's presidential whiskey. And Hyde, the name of the Irish whiskey, actually is given to this in honor of Ireland's first president, which was Douglas Hyde. So they've actually named this after him. I guess that's a good enough reason to be Ireland's presidential whiskey, right? So we're going to give this a taste here in just a few minutes, and we'll see just how presidential it is. All right, over here to Clonakilty Double Oak. My son gave this to me for Christmas. He obviously knows his old man pretty well. He likes Irish whiskey. Of course, he helped film the episode where I taste tested 4 of the common whiskeys in a row. So I think he's got a pretty good idea that I like Irish whiskey, right? All right, Clonakilty Double Oak. This comes from the Clonakilty Distillery up in County Cork. This is aged for 3+ years. It is 43.6% ABV or 87.2 proof, and this is a blend. This is going to be single grain and single malt together. Now, the interesting thing with this is that even though it's a blend of your single malt, single grain, it is a single batch. So like the Hyde over here, this bottle also lets you know exactly what barrel and what bottle this is from that barrel. For this particular bottle, this is batch number 20, and it is one of the 6,700 bottles that they made from that batch number 20. They actually don't put the exact number on here, but it's one of 6,700. I had honestly not heard of Clonakilty until Chris got this for me. So I'm really anxious to try it and see what it's like. They consider this to be their flagship product, the first product that they put out. So this is what all of their reputation was built off of. Now they call this double oak, even though they say it's triple distilled. I believe that's on here. Let me make sure. Non-chill filtered. We've already talked about that. It is triple matured. I'm sorry, not triple distilled. I don't have any proof of that. But they use two different types of oak casks for the maturing process. They use ex-bourbon casks, like just about everyone does. But then they go and finish it in virgin American oak, and then shaved, toasted, and recharred ex-red wine European oak casks. And these are from the Bordeaux region. So there's where your double oak comes from. You put it in the bourbon casks first, just like a lot of distillers do, but then we're going to move it to that American oak and then that French oak sort of process, I guess. So they are very proud of that, and we're going to see exactly how good this is. So let's get started with Hyde number 3. See what that tastes like. It's got a very nice golden color, not too light, not too dark. Let's see what we got here. It's not bad. It's got some of the alcohol burn to it. Definitely tell it's single grain because it's got that little bit of sweetness to it. But it is actually a pretty good sip of whiskey. I'm not finding that hateful at all. That is definitely one that I would sip just about any time. All right, let's move on to the Clonakilty, the double oak. This one's a little bit lighter in color than the Hyde. It's also a little bit less powerful by about 5 proof. This is 87.2, this is 92. They say that on their label, they say that you're going to get some sweetness to it, and it's a gentle cut. So let's see what it's like. All right. It is smoother than the Hyde. For my palate, though, I think I like the Hyde better. This one, you get a little bit of the sweetness from the single grain, but you can definitely taste the single malt in there too. You've definitely got that peaty undertone that you would expect from a single malt whiskey. As you know by now, or maybe you don't if you're new to my channel, the single malt is not something that I typically like in a whiskey. And it's not overpowering, but I can tell it's there. So I think between these two bottles right here, neither of them are a bad whiskey. I would not steer you away from either of these. For my particular palate, the Hyde number 3 would be my first choice. The Clonakilty would be my second. My shelves back here have a lot of whiskeys that aren't nearly as good as this. So please don't take from that this is a bad whiskey. It is a good whiskey. I just don't think it's as good as the Hyde number 3, at least not in this head-to-head comparison here. All right? So that's all I have for you this evening. I do have some Redbreast cask strength coming. Hopefully we'll be here in a week or two, and then we're going to do a nice Redbreast comparison. Got an idea for several other videos coming up, so we've got plenty more Irish whiskey to taste. If you have Facebook, look me up on Facebook. I put regular updates there about new bottles as they arrive, maybe ideas that I have for upcoming shows. And of course, you can contact me through Facebook. I'll respond to comments on there. So please look it up. And if you haven't already done so, consider subscribing to my channel. I'd love to have your subscription. And if you liked what you saw here this evening, please do give it a thumbs up. That means a lot to me. The subscriptions, the thumbs up, finding me on Facebook, all great things. And at least I know then that I'm reaching someone and maybe helping them make an informed decision about their Irish whiskey. So, until we meet again, should be next week. I want you all to have a very happy new year. I'll see you in 2023. And until then, be safe and be well. Bye now.